So, let me describe a very familiar scene. It's late, probably a bit later than you meant it to be. You've finished whatever you're watching or scrolling through, and now you're lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, waiting to feel sleepy, and it's just not happening. You're tired. You know you're tired. And yet here you are, wide awake, mind running, wondering why sleep feels like something that happens to other people. Sound familiar? Well, welcome to, or welcome back to, the new 5 a day. I'm Nick Walters, and this is Sleep Well, episode 3. And today we're talking about bedtime habits. Not sleep itself, but that bit before sleep. What you do in the hour or two before bed, and how much that shapes the sleep that you get. It matters more than most people realize, and small, manageable changes can make a genuinely big difference. Okay, let's get into it. Here's the thing most of us get wrong about sleep. We treat it like an on-off switch. Tick. You finish what you're doing, get into bed, and tick, expect to fall asleep. But sleep isn't a light switch. It's more like a dimmer. Your body needs time to shift from alert and active to quiet and ready to rest. And that takes longer than we give it. Your heart rate needs to ease off. Your temperature drops slightly. And a hormone called melatonin is called the darkness signal. It rises to tell your brain that it's nighttime. Now, some things help that along, others get in the way. And here's the reassuring part. You don't need a perfect routine or a Pinterest-ready sleep sanctuary. You mostly just need to be a little bit more intentional about that last hour or two. For most people, that's genuinely all it takes. So, what are the habits that help? Well, let's start with the one that has the most evidence behind it. And also, happens to be about the least glamorous. And that's a consistent bedtime. Not early, not late, just roughly the same most nights. Your body clock sets itself by patterns. So if you turn in around the same time, it learns the rhythm. Melatonin rises on cue. Your temperature dips, and falling asleep gets that little bit easier. Let your bedtime swing wildly, and your body gets confused. Researchers call this social jet lag. You don't need to be precise to the minute, but if you go to bed within a window of about an hour, that's plenty. It's those big swings that you want to avoid. Second, give yourself a real chance to wind down. If you're working or doom scrolling right up until the lights go out, your nervous system is still going to be in high gear when you lie down. If you repeat the same calming sequence each night, dim the lights, do something quiet like reading, and your brain learns to read that as a signal that sleep is coming. 30 to 60 minutes is usually just enough, but you just need to be consistent. Third, and seriously underrated, manage your light. Bright light, especially the blue tinted light from screens and overhead LEDs, tells your brain that it's still daytime, and so it delays the onset of the melatonin. So dim things down as the evening goes on. Switch to lamps. Turn the brightness down. Ease off the screens in that last half hour. Even a small reduction makes a real difference. And then fourth and finally, if your mind is still racing when your head hits the pillow, try a brief thought dump earlier in the evening. What that means is just write down tomorrow's tasks and the worries that you can't solve at 11 o'clock at night. If you're getting it down onto paper, that gives your brain permission to let it go. It sounds too simple to work, but the research genuinely backs this up. Okay, so now let's look at the flip side, at the habits that make sleep harder, and often without us even realizing it. Okay, the big one, the obvious one, caffeine. Now, most people know that coffee before bed isn't a great idea, but fewer people realize how long caffeine lingers in the system. In most adults, its half-life is around 5 to 6 hours. So a coffee at 4 in the afternoon is still working in your system at 10 at night. It's not just coffee, it's tea, it's cola, it's energy drinks, even chocolate. Oh, try cutting it off by early to mid-afternoon for a week or two, and then see whether you fall asleep a bit faster. Secondly, alcohol. This one surprises people because a drink often does make you feel drowsy and can help you drop off that bit faster. The problem comes later. As your body starts processing the alcohol, you get fragmented, lighter sleep in the second half of the night. You're kind of borrowing from the back half of the night to pay for that better sleep when you first go to bed. Now, you don't have to stop drinking. Just be honest about whether that evening glass is helping you or whether it might actually be hindering you. A couple of quick ones to finish on. A heavy meal late means that your digestion is working hard just when you're trying to settle. So try to finish off your main meal a couple of hours before you get to bed. Secondly, using your bed for anything except sleep, working, scrolling, watching TV, well, that teaches your brain that the bed is for activity, not for sleeping. Try to reserve bed for sleep. Now, a quick word about the bedroom itself. It isn't the biggest factor. Habits and timing are more important. But the environment does play a supporting role. And 3 things are worth getting roughly right. First of all, keep it cool. Most people sleep best around 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. Secondly, keep it dark. Even a little light from a street lamp or a phone lighting up can disrupt sleep without you even noticing. Blackout curtains may be one of the cheapest good investments you can make in a good night's sleep. Then thirdly, keep it quiet, or at least consistently noisy, since sudden noise is more disruptive than a steady background sound. That's why some people like having a fan on at night. Now, none of this costs much. It's about making the bedroom feel like a place that your brain associates with rest, making your bedroom a place where you want to sleep. So, what does all this actually look like? Well, here's a realistic routine, and I mean realistic and simple. It's not some 47-step protocol. First off, finish your main meal a couple of hours before bed. Try to keep your caffeine, at least your last caffeine of the day, try to limit that to early afternoon. As the evening goes on, start dimming the lights. In the last hour, try to put down your phone, or at least turn down the brightness. And if your mind's busy with tomorrow's to-do list, spend 5 minutes writing it down. It will help. And then do something quiet. Read a few pages of a book. Have a short stretch. Maybe a warm shower. And then bed. At roughly the same time most nights. That's the whole thing. It's not complicated, but the brain likes patterns. And over time, those patterns become its signal that sleep is coming. The key word is consistent. Not perfect, just do it most nights and let the habit form. Now, one final thing before we close. Good habits significantly improve your chances of sleeping well, but they're not a guarantee. You won't sleep great every night. Stress, noisy neighbors, sick children, a big day ahead. Some nights are just harder. And one bad night doesn't mean your routine isn't working. When it happens, the most useful response is to notice it, to acknowledge it, and then to move on. Keep your wake time the same the next morning rather than sleeping in to try to compensate. That keeps that rhythm steady. And a good night usually follows a bad one. Now, a brief word on persistent trouble. If you're regularly struggling for weeks rather than days, having trouble falling asleep, you're waking through the night, you're feeling unrefreshed despite having enough time in bed, it is worth speaking to your GP. The most effective treatment for chronic insomnia isn't a sleeping pill. It's a structured program called CBT for insomnia, or CBTI. And research shows that it works better than medication in the long run. So sleep is pillar 1 of the new 5 a day. And the hour before bed is one of the most direct levers that you have to control and optimize your sleep. 3 things I'd like to leave you with today. Number 1, try to keep your sleep timing consistent, the same bedtime and wake time most nights. Number 2, try to reduce that stimulation before bed. Cut off the caffeine early afternoon. Keep the lights dimmed. Try to ease off your screens in that last half hour. Number 3, give your mind some space. A short thought dump before bed can always be good for you. And tonight's action, pick just one of these 3 and try it. See if it makes a difference for you. Look, if you want the full evidence, there's a companion deep dive post and a full citations list at www.new5aday.com. That's the number 5. The next episode, we're going back to pillar 2, eat well, and we're going to talk about treats because we all love a treat. So we're going to find out how to make sure we can build a consistent, healthy diet that lets you have treats too. So share this episode if it's been useful. It really does help the show. For now, take care and maybe put your phone down and get ready for bed.